Welcome to Inside Out. I'm your host, Haleigh Gross. Here I'll be discussing teens' experiences on social media, mental health awareness, body positivity, trend alerts, and so much more. Though the fashion industry and media have their faults, I pledge to show young women that they can love themselves even if they don't fit the ideal beauty standard. Self-expression and confidence are the keys to making yourself stand out and get in tune with your creative mind. Now to the show. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Inside Out. If you don't know me, I'm your host, Haleigh, and if you do know me, you know that I have left the studio once again and I'm reporting remotely from sunny Orlando, Central Florida. It is actually a bit chilly here, which I'm glad to come back to be honest, because back in South Florida, it was so hot. It was simply very, very warm. So I drove back down on Sunday, and I was in the studio on Friday doing Kenny Love's show, which was very nice. I got to do his first show of the new year, and I got to take home a big bouquet of flowers like usual from Kenny on Fridays. But what I wanted to talk about first was my actually awful first day of school. Throwback to my last first day of school from last semester. That was actually so good. It was actually like such a good day. But this one, it just wasn't right. Everything went wrong. So I ended up waking up feeling pretty good. I woke up, I had some breakfast, I did a little light reading. Alyssa wasn't here, so I was like, I got the dorm to myself. I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna light a candle. I'm gonna just hang out for however long. And so just hanging out, doing whatever, got ready, all dressed. I was like, a little outfit for the first day of school. My first class was my leadership class, which I'm actually having problems with, which I will get into in a little bit. But so I was like, oh no, I literally have no food in my dorm because I had gotten back the night before, and I was kind of just like, I'm gonna unpack, I'm gonna settle in, I'm gonna chill in the dorm. Didn't really have time to go out, get groceries, and buy stuff so that I have things to eat. I kind of expected that I'd have maybe a cup of coffee, and I just didn't. But I had hot chocolate, so I was like, let me just make myself a cup of hot chocolate. So I had some hot chocolate, and then I had some dry Honey Nut Cheerios. Thanks, Mom. She sent me home with Honey Nut Cheerios. But, so I ate that, and I was feeling kind of sickly, so I was like, alright, let me get my car and drive to Starbucks. But it was a Monday morning, so I was like, it's gonna be crowded. If I try to go walk into the campus, Starbucks is gonna be crowded too. So I was like, I know at the Chick-fil-A right by the school they have this frozen coffee thing. So I was like, I'm going to walk 2 feet out the dorm and go get Chick-fil-A. So I get out the dorm and I'm walking, and I'm just seeing so many people. It's not even people that I know, it's just there's just so many people on campus. And I'm getting overwhelmed, walking around. I'm like, why can't I breathe right now? And so I ended up being I gotta go sit in the dorm for 2 seconds before I go to this class because it's not happening for me. So I went back into my dorm, and I went and I talked to Tatum and Bree, and I was like, hey, is anybody else struggling today? Is anybody else having like a really bad time adjusting back here? And I didn't think I would, to be honest, because every time that I've gone home for like maybe a weekend and come back, it's like all regular usual. I was talking about this with Tatum. I think it just might be the whole, this was my first like actual break. Even coming back from Thanksgiving break, which was like a week, I really didn't have much of a problem coming back and readjusting here, but I was home for so long and I'm getting dinners made for me. There's always food in the house. I don't have to buy my own stuff. Like, I had like a really good schedule. I was working at my other job, my golf job, and I was at the cafe too 3 times a week. So I had like a nice schedule going on, the same schedule that I had prior to coming to college. So I did get used to that schedule, and then I had my days where I was like, where I specifically had off, so I got to do whatever on those days, Tuesday, Thursday, and then the weekend I had off too, so I would just do whatever on those days. But now I have all new classes, and I have like film club and all this stuff, and there's so many people here and so many people to see and do all these things, so it's like, I just was like, got overwhelmed, because literally the only person I was seeing over break was Olivia. Like, I just had that friend, and we were hanging out like every day, and I was just going to the cafe, hanging out with my family, and it was all pretty chill. And then I come back here and I'm like, oh my god, there's just so many people here. Everyone's looking at me. I have anxiety. I'm like, I come back into the dorm and I'm like hyperventilating. I'm like, please calm down. It's just going to class. And originally with my leadership class, I wanted to switch into my friend Mario's class, and he had kind of a later class, so I was like, maybe not, because I just wanted to like, I think 1:30 is a pretty good time for like a midday kind of class, because I didn't want to have to end like when the sun is setting, because it is a 2-hour class. And so I didn't know anybody in that class. I go in and I'm like, all right, who can I sit next to? Who can I like make friends with? And like, there's an entire table empty, and then the other 2 tables, they're kind of filled up, but there was some seats. So I was like, all right, let me go sit like in the corner, kind of like next to this girl. So I go and sit, and I'm glad that the professor did this on the first day, because I would have not made any friends, because everyone was kind of like very clicked, because they all had friends from their classes from last semester, and nobody from my class last semester was taking this class, because what I'm thinking is everyone that was in my 10:30 class last semester probably took another 10:30 class, but I was like, oh my god, cannot wake up for that one again. Even though it's not that early, but I wake up at 10:30. Like, that's a usual time I wake up. So it was kind of like pulling teeth for me to get into that class. But very nice professor, very funny, kind of acts like a teenager, but so he ended up putting us into these groups of 4, and I met a very nice girl, very into Spider-Man, and we had to like give a fun fact about ourselves, and then we had to like trade around our group members and like do like a little Hunger Games type deal, and it was so like, that gave me a little bit of anxiety, because I was like, I don't want to get traded around, but one of the girls in my group ended up being like, I'm gonna go with my roommate. All these people have their roommates in their class. I'm like, I don't even know anybody in this program. Like, I have like one friend in this program. And so I actually ended up getting put on probation from the Lead Scholars Academy. And so I now have to kind of make the decision if I want to drop it. I did already do it for one semester. It's just like, it's such a big commitment where you have to do community service hours, you have to go to all these events, and it's just like, you get a $200 scholarship, and then last semester they charge you a commitment fee, which was $175. So last semester I got a $25 scholarship. And is that correct math?
Yes.
Okay. So last semester I got a $25 scholarship. I was like, all right, fine, because next semester it'll be okay. Like, I'll just get the $200 next semester. And then this semester I'm put on probation, and I go ahead and I read. They logged me into this portal, the probation portal, and I read it, and it was like, you can still be in Lead Scholars, but you don't get your $200 scholarship for the semester. And I'm like, what is the point here, truly? I was kind of taking it for a little resume boost. It looks good. I like doing the community service stuff. It honestly makes me feel better about like living here and trying to like get in touch with my community a little bit more. Honestly, I feel like if I do drop it, I will try to find something else to do volunteer-wise, because that still like looks good on your resume. Doing volunteer work, you don't have to be like associated with any type of program. So I have to make that decision. But what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is, I found out that if you take 15 credit hours, you get an $1,000 scholarship. And with the lead class, I'm taking 5 classes, so that is 14 credit hours. If I drop lead and I take a 3 credit course, I will get that $1,000 scholarship compared to not even the $200 scholarship because I'm on probation. So I'm thinking that that's probably going to be a better option for me. But another thing I wanted to talk about was, so I think I did mention this in another podcast. I think it was the one that I did before Olivia's interview from last week. I have really bad trouble sleeping, and I've just always had like really bad trouble sleeping for like probably 2 years at this point. And coming to college, obviously, I am living with another person like 2 feet away from me, and then 2 other people like right across the wall. So if I'm trying to go to sleep for class and they're making noise, I just simply can't fall asleep. It has to be like silent, or like the air conditioning has to be on, or but I just have a really bad time sleeping if there's like literally the littlest tiny bit of noise, even if it's coming from the hallway. I'm like, I cannot do this right now. And even when it is dead silent, it takes me like at most like 2 hours to go to sleep. So I've been trying to find different kind of ways to put myself to sleep. I'm an avid melatonin user. I do usually take it. I haven't been taking it for a few days because I decided that I want to get off depending on melatonin, even though it's kind of like natural. It just makes me feel so sluggish when I wake up in the morning, and I'm like, oh no, I am so tired still, and it's because I took a melatonin and then to make myself tired. Um, I feel like if I just don't do something super exhausting over the course of the day, I'm not going to like hit the pillow. I don't take naps. When I try to take naps, it's like I just kind of like lay down in the bed for like 5 minutes and I'm like so bored. I'm gonna go on my phone. I'm not falling asleep. So my naps are more of a rest period, if anything, because my body just, even if my body is super tired, my brain is going crazy. So I tried the whole, I'm picturing a sunset, I'm picturing the beach sounds, but my brain is always like, hey, you want to think about something that's bothering you? You want to really think about something that's bothering you? You want to really overanalyze something that's bothering you? And so I'll just like be having like bad anxiety and I'm like, why is this happening? Why can't I go to sleep? Like, and I know I stress myself out, so I try to like clear my brain. I'm like, I had a friend like tell me about some like medicinal like meditation music on Spotify. So my first night at college, that's what I decided to try. I don't know if that had something to do with my horrible first day, but I hope it did not because I plugged my headphones in. I wish I had AirPods because I feel like that would be a better option for me than my wire earbuds like imprinting themselves into my cheek as I'm sleeping. But uh, so I put on like this good vibration music to study and meditate to, and honestly, like it kind of like if you really focus on I have clear brain, I am not thinking about anything right now, it honestly really helps. I'm not sure if I was listening to it for so long that I just ended up falling asleep when I usually do, but my roommates were kind of being loud on the other in the other room, so I was like, I don't really, it's the first night back, I don't want to like be a bother. I'm going to put in my headphones and I'm going to try to go to sleep to some music. I notoriously cannot fall asleep to like regular music. Like if it has like words in it, that like doesn't work for me for some reason, and I am not sure why. But uh, that actually ended up working. I woke up. I felt like refreshed, and then I went on to have my really horrible day. But hopefully, um, maybe tonight I'll try it. I want to see what kind of fun dreams I can have while I am listening to this meditation music. But another fun thing that's happening this weekend is I am going up to see Olivia again after literally spending the entire break with her because we've been friends since literally third grade. Like, I think she's the friend that I've known the longest, and I've been friends with her for the longest. And so, like, when we went off to college, it was kind of like, how do we stay in touch? How do we, like, keep seeing each other? And so, for, like, a long time during the summer, I kind of let her get adjusted there, and I was like, oh, I wish she would text me more. I wish she would call me more. And then I got up to college in the fall, and I was like, I'm gonna need a little time too to figure out this stuff here. And then we got back together over, um, I think we got back together over the Thanksgiving break and we were hanging out a lot. And then over the winter break, we hung out literally every single day. And it was just like, oh, we're in high school again, all best friends again. And kind of glad that that happened because I felt like we weren't as close as we used to be going off. But I feel like all is right in the world now. I am going to see her at UNF on Friday. I think I'm going up. And she still doesn't have a roommate. So I actually have a bed. Um, I know we like didn't. It's kind of like hard to go see each other during like having these little uh, breaks because I was like, all right, if I don't tell her that I'm coming up, I will never come up because over the course of the fall, I was like, oh, I have to come visit, I have to come meet all your friends, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, yeah. And like, we never just went back to it. So I was with her in person, and I was like, I'm coming up, whether you like it or not. So I'm going to see you soon. And she was like, all right. And so hopefully she is going to come up for in 2 weeks for her turn to see Orlando. She did come to Orlando during the fall, but she just came to go to Disney, which is another thing that a lot of people do. And they don't come to UCF to come see me, but it's okay because she's gonna be staying with me. I'm gonna blow up her little air mattress, and I'm gonna show her downtown. We're gonna go to cute places, Austin's Coffee. Love Asian food. I'll take her to Bao Buns. We're gonna go to a lot of places, see a lot of things. I'm gonna show her around UCF, and I can't wait to see her around UNF. Okay. Right. So I am actually going to, right after this podcast, I am going to go off and look at some student apartments with my friends Molly and Axel. And our OG plan was to actually get a house, but things kind of fell through with that. Yesterday we talked about it, and getting a house, the renters expect you to move in immediately, and obviously all three of us were still in the dorm. We're still paying for the dorm until the end of spring semester, and we will not be there the entire summer. So we're gonna try to find a way, but for our safest bet now, we're gonna start looking at student housing, or not student housing. We're gonna start looking at the off-campus apartments again, and we're gonna try to see what we can find. Honestly, I'm leaning towards living in an apartment because you got all the amenities included. It is a lot more expensive, but you don't have to furnish a whole house. Get your own bathroom. I've never had my own bathroom ever, so that'd be nice. Get your own room. That's all I can ask for, to be honest.
I'm sitting right here. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, pretty much we're going to go look at some apartments, and I will update you guys with what I am doing for next year, and hopefully I will be reporting from a cute little apartment with some cute little amenities, maybe a pool. But I think that about wraps things up for this week. I think that was a little bit of a shorter podcast, but I'm gonna have some fun content for you next week, and hopefully you enjoyed this edition of Inside Out, and I will talk to you guys again next week. Have an amazing day. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching Inside Out with Haleigh. Tune in next Wednesday for more talk about connecting with your inner and outer self, along with a range of other topics regarding young women and social media. See you next week.